Denver's mayor tells people to clear their calendars for the month of April. The stay-at-home order will last weeks longer.
You can anticipate that it will be extended until April 30th.
And the city is looking to set up the largest homeless shelter Denver has ever seen. Colorado's trouble testing for COVID-19 could be giving us a false sense of security, suggesting that cases are leveling off when we're really just not finding them. How about we take a look at what's happening to the businesses forcing employees to come in for non-essential work? This could be the most socially distanced person in the state. And we have a new welcome sign. Welcome home. This is next. If Colorado and the rest of the country are successful in slowing the spread of the coronavirus, in bending the curve, as they say, it will be because of one of two reasons. One is reality, the other would be an illusion. Mass testing will tell us if our social distancing is helping to slow the spread. But spotty, sporadic testing, that will also create the false perception that the spread is slowing. Because a really good way not to find something is not to look real hard for it. President Trump told governors this week he hadn't heard about testing being an issue in a while. Our Chris Vanderveen heard Colorado's testing concerns repeated again today.
It has now become the public health care equivalent
testing
of a broken record.
Testing capabilities.
For additional testing.
Testing. For weeks, states and the president.
The numbers have been incredible on testing.
Promised more. And clearly there are more tests being done now than a few weeks ago. But look at this. A week and a half ago, March 21st, that day the state reported 870 people tested. The next day, 876. Using the state's own data, we analyzed each day's total and found fluctuations in those totals. Yesterday, for example, we found a one-day total that basically matched what the state reported back on March 22nd, more than a week ago.
When our resources are limited, we will continue to focus it on those higher priorities like hospitalized patients, healthcare workers, and first responders.
On the state health department's bi-weekly call today, Incident Commander Scott Bookman talked about what is now holding expanded testing back.
I think we need to expand testing as widely as we can. The limitation currently to testing is really based on the ability to get personal protective equipment and to conduct that swabbing.
In other words, a continued shortage of the supplies needed to conduct the tests has resulted in a continued rationing of tests. For most patients, that means unless you're hospitalized, you will find it challenging to get tested. And when only the hospitalized are tested en masse, you can't exactly say what the virus is doing outside of hospital walls. At least today we can say the number of completed tests went up again. 1,485 patients now know their results. For Next, this is Chris Vanderveen.
To give you our daily snapshot of where COVID-19 stands in Colorado at the end of the month, we know of 69 confirmed deaths. That is up 19 overnight. 509 hospitalizations, again setting a single-day record for the amount of increase there. There are 2,996 confirmed cases, many thousands more unconfirmed, and more than 16,000 people have been tested. Denver is extending its stay-home order from the original end date of April 11th clear through April 30th. Mayor Michael Hancock broke that news in a conversation with me this afternoon that we shared with you on the Next Twitter and Facebook pages. And the mayor also talked about the city's unprecedented effort to try and stop COVID-19 from sweeping through the homeless population, an effort that they anticipate will involve setting up some large facility.
We're looking at some sites we even evaluated the Convention Center, the National Western Center, some other sites for this type of congregate care. We'll make a final determination very soon and then begin the process of setting it up.
President Trump warned state and local leaders that he wants you to show appreciation for the federal government's effort. He specifically said that he had told Vice President Pence not to call two governors in states that have outbreaks because they had publicly criticized him. Then you see the approach of a Democratic governor like Gavin Newsom in California, who is constantly lavishing praise on the president, and he's getting what his state is asking for. Have you and Governor Polis had any conversations about perhaps instead of criticizing the president, publicly praising him, if that's how Colorado and Denver can get the life-saving equipment that we need?
Listen, absolutely not. Let me tell you, one of the things that Governor Polis and I understand is that in this process, this moment of crises, the moment it becomes about us, we have failed to represent and carry forth the values of the people we are called to represent. It's not about President Trump. It's not about Vice President Pence. It's not about Governor Polis or about Mayor Hancock. This is about the people that we have taken an oath to serve and to protect every day. And the moment that becomes a different model, we're all in trouble.
Last week, you were tested for COVID-19. Test came back negative. You had been around somebody who was showing symptoms. We both know that most Coloradans can't get a test under those circumstances. Do you have concerns that you getting tested sent the wrong message?
You know what? I think, no, I don't. It was very important. I am in very close quarters with about 100 city employees in the Emergency Operations Center. And
Mayor Hancock's full conversation with me included his thoughts on how Denver is enforcing the stay-home order, and that's on the next YouTube page. Denver is giving businesses the business if they are forcing employees to come to work in non-critical, non-essential workplaces. 4 citations issued in Denver so far. Our Marshall Zellinger takes a look.
You wouldn't know it from the empty parking lot, but this Denver Hobby Lobby near Leetsdale and Monaco was open yesterday. Investigators with Denver's Department of Public Health gave this location a general violation, meaning a day in court, for being open despite the city's stay-at-home order. According to the city, Hobby Lobby's defense, they were essential because they provided supplies to work-from-home businesses. Near Belmar in Lakewood, this Hobby Lobby is open, allowing 10 customers in at once. This store is under the watch of Jefferson County Public Health. Jeffco has received 40 to 50 complaints about businesses being open. All of them have been followed up with and have been resolved through education. Denver has 93 complaints, including Appliance Factory Mattress Kingdom, with the bright red sign that says Essential Business Open. The city disagrees, citing this location at 10th and Zuni twice. Business or facility operating without applicable restrictions.
They believe that we're not an essential company, but we are. Right now, people need appliances more than ever.
Sales Director Matt Couder defends keeping the physical store open by limiting 3 customers in at a time.
We're already, practicing social distancing, and so there's nothing that we need to be doing more.
Denver also cited this car wash at 6th and Santa Fe for having 2 employees working inside. What about other staffed car washes? Well, enforcement is based on complaints. And Denver's 4th citation stopped work at GameStop. This location near 20th and Park Avenue, as well as another in Boulder, have been closed. The defense of the Denver location, according to the city, they sell essential business supplies, such as mice and keyboards. Back at this appliance store, you can see that sign behind me here says you can shop online or phone, and according to the attorney for this company, that's what the city prefers this company to do, but they're fighting back, saying that they can be open as an essential business. Kyle, the citation to show up in court for these is in July, so you have 4 months between getting the citation and actually having to defend it in court.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was curious if they're going to call people into court right away. This is so complicated, Marshall, because I imagine that there are some non-essential employees who would like to be working in defiance of the health order so that they can get paid, and then there might be other people in the same workplace that just want to get the heck out of there.
And this is all based on complaints. I talked with somebody while I was shooting footage today, and they asked, why is this single place being singled out? And it's because of complaints. It's not like the city has all this manpower going door to door just checking what these businesses are doing. Somebody called to complain, whether it's an employee or a customer.
All right, Marshall Zellinger, thank you so much. So you think toilet paper is popular these days? You should check out what's going on with guns. Right now, Colorado's background check system is swamped. CBI says 12,000 people have applied for a background check to get a gun in last week. There are 9,000 of those checks backed up. The state needs about 6 calendar days to process each one, and that is more than the 3 days allowed under federal law, which means that licensed firearm dealers can just give somebody the gun earlier, even if they don't have the background check back. A CBI spokeswoman told us that she had heard that some gun dealers were deciding to wait for the background check, even if they didn't have to, and the CBI is asking other gun shops to do the same. Colorado's red flag law, which can be used to take weapons from somebody who is deemed to be a danger to themselves or others, that continues to roll on, even during the pandemic. There was a petition filed just yesterday in El Paso County, one of 31 filed since the law went into effect at the start of the year. And we know that at least one of the cases that we've seen statewide was dealt with via phone while the statewide stay-at-home order was in place. Spokesperson for the state court says that in that case, the petitioner, the person asking, and the witnesses called into the proceeding. Spokesperson wasn't sure if the gun owner was there physically or was on the phone. It's up to individual judges to decide how they want to handle those cases. So we have showed you weddings and birthday parties and anniversaries impacted by the outbreak. Most of them turned into smaller celebrations, something virtual, but lots of joy. Tonight, our Steve Steger is looking at how Coloradans are grieving when they can't gather.
This is weird.
I know.
In this sudden age of connecting digitally only, it is easy to feel alone.
There is an isolation in that is felt by everyone. Imagine that, plus having a loss.
Martha Thayer leads the mortuary science program at Arapahoe Community College.
We're allowed less than 10 at a service, and so that's pretty hard because when someone dies, you know, they want to invite everybody. They want to invite their community.
She says funeral directors are getting creative in this age of COVID-19, meeting with family over video conference, getting signatures digitally.
I have talked to funeral directors who have recorded services on their telephone and then put up a private YouTube page where the family can go later and view it.
Doing what they can to give families the support they need.
There's a phrase that joy shared is joy increased and grief shared is grief diminished. And right now, we are not able to come together as a complete and whole community.
Some funeral directors are suggesting burials and cremations immediately with memorial services when people can gather again. A good plan, Thayer says, but not one without concerns.
At what point in the future do those memorials start? And at what point do people's compassion fatigue kick in?
Compassion fatigue, when grief literally tires us out. One way to combat it, she says, don't wait until you can see someone to let them know you're there for them.
It's really important to do what you can to reach out to people in the moment.
For Next, I'm Steve Steger.
While funeral homes are considered essential businesses, each funeral director takes an oath to follow local laws. And that's the reason why funeral directors have been limiting in-person services to 10 people or fewer. There's new advice on who should be wearing masks and when. Just as important is what type of mask to wear. And let's show Colorado's appreciation for the people keeping society on track. Next. Health experts have said since the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak that you don't need to wear a mask when you go out in public if you're healthy. Well, now they're asking people to reconsider that in case they only think that they're healthy. 9 Health expert Dr. Payal Kohli helps to explain why that guidance is changing.
The reason that the White House may be asking us to put masks on everyone is for those asymptomatic people that may be expelling those droplets to minimize the expulsion of those droplets. So it's more those people that don't have symptoms or are minimally symptomatic that seem to be spreading this virus, to minimize how many viral particles they're expelling, rather than really to be protecting the people that are healthy or the people that are vulnerable from getting infected with the virus. Now, it's important to keep in mind that there is a significant nationwide shortage of masks and personal protective equipment. So the masks we're talking about here are generally the homemade masks. And again, the reason to wear them is really to protect others, not as much to protect yourself. And the other caveat to wearing the masks is that they have to be worn correctly. Because if you're wearing a mask and you're touching your face more often, adjusting it, or the mask is contaminated and then you don't put it on properly or take it off properly or clean it properly, it could increase your infectious risk.
Dr. Kohli has been answering your specific questions each day, and we've put together a frequently asked questions page on 9news.com and on the 9 News app. Well, not even a pandemic can stop Colorado's oil and gas wars. Broomfield has been fighting fracking and wanted to shut down one operation in particular due to what it said was a concern related to coronavirus. The producer, Extraction in Oil and Gas, went to court asking for a restraining order, and a judge gave it to him. The judge is telling Broomfield that it cannot issue a public health order against that company for the next 2 weeks. Extraction wants to start flowback operations, bringing liquids up to the surface. Broomfield's public health manager says emissions caused by that process could lead to respiratory issues for people already at risk for COVID-19. Broomfield's Mayor Pro Tem told us they have the public health order written and ready to go, but that restraining order prevents them from voting on it. To who are keeping our trains rolling and America's cargo moving, you should know Colorado appreciates you. Next viewer named Chris asked that our nightly statewide shout-out go to the rail employees hauling critical supplies. The railroads never stop, he said, and this pandemic is no exception. Chris has got me thinking that my great-great-grandfather would have been a train conductor at the exact time of the influenza pandemic of 1918, so I especially appreciate your shout-out. This is social distancing done right. Can't you just feel your blood pressure dropping as you're looking at that picture? Here's the deal. No more depressing news from here until the end of Next.
What a beautiful day. What a way to end our snowiest month with sunshine, a few high clouds to the north, and light winds, and temperatures close to 70 for many areas. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow. As a matter of fact, close to 80 in southern Colorado. Typical highs about 58. We do have a storm coming in, but it won't be here till Thursday. There may be a brief snow shower around Steamboat tomorrow. High clouds coming into Denver tomorrow morning, but no advisories for snow. So in Denver, for tonight, partly cloudy, 39 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, warmer afternoon clouds, and a 20% chance that we'll see a late evening shower, a rain shower. That rain mixes with snow. Thursday and Friday will be colder with highs in the 40s both days, less than an inch of accumulation on the grass, and then a warming trend heading into the weekend, back close to 70 degrees by both Sunday and Monday afternoon.
Hey, now this is some social distancing. Diane sent us a photo from Grand Lake. It's at such good social distance, I can't tell you if that is a man, woman, or child walking the dog across the lake. Diane did mention this is a limited time opportunity because the ice is melting up at Grand Lake pretty quickly, but boy, what a view. And it's a sign. It is Colorado's, probably its most famous sign, and it now has a twist. An ad agency has turned our famous Welcome to Colorful Colorado signs at our state lines into virtual versions reading, "We need to stay home, Colorado." Karshhagen is the agency that made these signs, said that we were welcome to share them, so you too can find these images on the Next Facebook page if you would like to share them with somebody. Social distancing is not always boring and frustrating. It can be sweet and hilarious. Some of your best examples and your feedback next. The great distancing is forcing us all to try a little bit harder to connect. Love the photo from Claire of her granddaughters reading to their friend across the street in Wheat Ridge. And Becky sent us a shot of dinner being delivered in Telluride. They ordered barbecue. It was brought over by the barbecue place's owner himself, and Becky's husband grabbed the snow shovel for a socially distant handoff. It's great to see people having some fun with this kind of thing. We finish, as always, with your feedback, and I see that we got a couple of notes tonight, including from Ken about the fireplace, wondering why in the world it is on if it's 65 degrees outside. I don't know what it is outside. I just know it's freezing cold in the basement of my old house, and the fireplace actually does help quite a bit. And it was Jay who tweeted in tonight to ask me to settle a bet between him and his wife. He thinks that what's behind me on the wall there is wood for the fireplace. His wife thinks that it's wine corks. Jay, you're right. Your wife is wrong. But you're going to be quarantined together for a while, so think this through, champ. You really want to tell her? See you next time.